Is it possible to be happy? Is it possible to be happy? A great many people wonder whether or not happiness even exists in this modern, rushing world. Very often an individual can have $1 million. He can have everything his heart apparently desires and is still unhappy. We take the case of somebody who has worked all his life. He's worked hard. He's raised a big family. He's looked forward to that time of his life when he, at last, could retire and be happy and be cheerful and have lots of time to do all the things he wanted to do. And then we see him after he's retired, and is he happy? No. He's sitting there thinking about the good old days when he was working hard. Our main problem in life is happiness. The world today may or may not be designed to be a happy world. It may or may not be possible for you to be happy in this world. And yet, nearly all of us have the goal of being happy and cheerful about existence. And then, very often, we look around at the world around us and say, well, nobody could be happy in this place. We look at the dirty dishes in the sink and the car needing a coat of paint and the fact that we need a new gas heater, we need a new coat, we need new shoes, or we'd just like to have better shoes and say, well, how could anybody possibly be happy when actually he can't have everything he wants? He's unable to do all the things he'd like to do, and therefore, this environment doesn't permit a person to be as happy as he could be. Well, I'll tell you a funny thing. A lot of philosophers have said this many, many times. But the truth of the matter is that all the happiness you will ever find lies in you. You remember when you were maybe 5 years old and you went out in the morning and you looked at the day, and it was a very, very beautiful day. You looked at flowers and they were very beautiful flowers. 25 years later, you get up in the morning, you take a look at the flowers, they are wilted. The day isn't a happy day. Well, what's changed? You know they are the same flowers. It's the same world. Something must have changed. Well, probably it was you. Actually, a little child derives all of his pleasure in life from the grace he puts upon life. He waves a magic hand and turns all manner of interesting things into being out in the society. Where does he do this? He goes down and he looks at the cop. Here's this big, strong brute of a man riding this iron steed, up and down. Boy, he'd like to be a cop. Yes, sir, he'd sure like to be a cop. 25 years later, he looks at that cop riding up and down, checking his speedometer, and says, doggone these cops. Well, what's changed here? Has the cop changed? No, just the attitude toward the cop. One's attitude toward life makes every possible difference in one's living. You know, you don't have to study 1,000 ancient books to discover that fact. But sometimes it needs to be pointed out again that life doesn't change so much as you. Once upon a time, perhaps, you were thinking of being married and having a nice home and having a nice family, and everything would be just right. And the husband would come home, you see, and you'd put dinner on the table, and everybody would be happy about the whole thing. And then you got married, and it maybe didn't quite work out. Somehow or other, he comes home late. He's had an argument with the boss, and he doesn't feel well. He doesn't want to go to the movies, and he doesn't see how you have any work to do anyhow. After all, you just sit home all day and do nothing. And you know he doesn't do any work either. He disappears out of the house, he's gone, and he comes back later in the evening, and he hasn't done anything either. Quite an argument could ensue over this, and actually both of you have worked quite hard. Well, what do we do in a condition like this?